few days ago news came on some scientific sites that James Webb Space Telescope found the smoking gun that disproved the Big Bang. I will not call it fake news, but a clever misinterpreting of the facts to draw less informative viewers to the article. Let me disprove this fake theory. Welcome back to my channel. James Webb Space Telescope never disproved the Big Bang. Let's see how we can restore the truth in this matter. The Big Bang is a deceptive concept for the observed expansion of the universe. We observe the expansion of what some of us believe to be an infinite universe. The name Big Bang evokes the image of a firecracker igniting at a specific time and location, with a focal point, but the universe has no central location. The Big Bang occurred simultaneously everywhere and was a process, not a point in time. If you want, take it like this: the Big Bang was an explosion that occurred at every point in the universe, but this is a twisted explanation. For the sake of better understanding for the general public, the Big Bang was not big, nor it came with a bang, but sure did not was explosion for that matter. We know this because galaxies are moving away from each other, not from a central location, and because the universe is uniformly filled with heat left over from primordial periods. We can observe the heat that existed approximately 380,000 years after the Big Bang, which began the expansion of the universe 13.8 billion years ago. This heat permeates the sky and the entire universe. The Cosmic Background Explorer, or COBE, the Wilkinson Microwave Anisotropy Probe, or WMAP, and the Planck satellites that NASA and ESA developed allowed us to map it. The universe at this time was exceedingly smooth, with only minute temperature fluctuations. COBE, WMAP, and Planck satellites all saw further into the past than James Webb Space Telescope, though JWST will see further into the past than Hubble. JWST was not designed to observe the origins of the universe, but rather a previously unseen period of the universe's history. We are particularly interested in observing the first objects to form as the universe cooled after the Big Bang. Perhaps hundreds of millions of years have passed since the time when humanity probes like COBE, WMAP, and Planck satellites were designed to observe. I believe that the minuscule temperature ripples observed in the CMB were the seeds from which galaxies eventually grew. We scientists, myself included, do not know precisely when or how the universe created its first stars and galaxies. This is why the JWST was built, to assist answer this question. Only by looking very far away, to see back to the time when these objects were forming, the JWST is good enough to allow us to see how things started to fall into place. Hubble is not large enough or cold enough to detect the faint thermal signals of these distant objects. After the Big Bang, the first generation of stars to form produced the chemical components of life. We are here today because of them, and we wish to learn more about how this came about. We have speculations and hypotheses, but we don't yet know how to answer them. In some way, the first stars must have influenced our own history, beginning with their ability to stir up everything and produce elements other than hydrogen and helium. If we want to truly understand where our atoms came from, and how the tiny planet Earth became capable of supporting life, we must measure what occurred in the beginning. This is the reason why the humanity build telescopes in space. The James Webb Space Telescope, or in short the JWST, is a space telescope that conducts infrared astronomy at this time. As the largest optical telescope in space, it is outfitted with high-resolution and high-sensitivity instruments, allowing it to observe objects that are too ancient, distant, or dim for the Hubble Space Telescope. This enables investigations in numerous disciplines of astronomy and cosmology, such as the observation of the first stars, the formation of the first galaxies, and the characterization of the atmospheres of potentially habitable exoplanets. Webb is the official successor to the Hubble Space Telescope, and due to its focus on infrared astronomy, it is also the successor to the Spitzer Space Telescope. Webb will be able to see significantly more and older stars and galaxies than either of these telescopes. Observing in the infrared spectrum is essential for seeing better the cosmological redshift, and the fact that it penetrates particles and gas more effectively. This allows for the observation of objects that are darker and colder. Since water vapor and carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere powerfully absorb most infrared astronomy from the ground is restricted to narrow wavelength ranges, where the atmosphere absorbs less strongly. Additionally, the atmosphere itself emits infrared radiation, which frequently overpowers the observed object's light. For infrared observation, this makes a space telescope preferable. The James Webb Space Telescope was never able to disprove the Big Bang theory. Here is how this myth spread. Despite pseudoscientific attempts to twist JWST's findings, the Big Bang theory remains on solid footing. Even though the James Webb Space Telescope has only been conducting scientific operations for a few months, it has already made a number of groundbreaking discoveries, including the detection of what may be the earliest galaxies ever observed, which existed just 200 million years after the Big Bang. Although issues with instrument calibration may indicate that some of these galaxies are not as distant as previously believed, JWST has almost undoubtedly set a record with a few of them. JWST is designed to discover the universe's primordial galaxies. We didn't expect galaxies to be this structured so early in the universe. The Standard Model of Cosmology describes the formation of the first galaxies as a hierarchical process, in which small clouds of gas and clusters of stars merged, to create larger nascent galaxies. Observations by JWST indicate that these early galaxies appear a little more evolved than anticipated, which is an intriguing astrophysical mystery that challenges current models of galaxy growth. That everything we had previously learned about the first galaxies based on telescopic data was likely incomplete, and now that we have more data, our hypotheses can be refined. Science denial is an increasing issue. Although scientific denial has existed for as long as science has existed, it appears to have become more pervasive in recent years, perhaps aided by social media. Not believing in vaccines, for example, caused millions of people to die needlessly from COVID-19, while climate denial has impeded efforts to pass legislation to combat the planet's warming climate. Science denial has gotten worse, because it now poses a greater threat to the well-being of our society. In this case, it's relatively harmless for someone to deny the Big Bang, but you see the same thing with things that really matter, such as COVID vaccines and climate change. It is difficult to persuade science deniers, because their natural inclination is to mistrust what experts or authorities say. It is tempting for scientists to ignore them, in the expectation that they will disappear, but this is a mistake because they do not disappear. If we disregard it, that is one of the worst things we can do, because if we don't engage and refute, they will simply recruit more believers, and the situation could quickly become out of control. To win over science deniers, however, you must first earn their trust, which is extremely challenging. The only people I am aware of who have ever changed their minds, they did so because someone they trusted took the time, with as much love and empathy as possible, to convince them that they were mistaken. This requires the realization that the majority of science deniers are victims. I am referring to those who believe the fake news that said that JWST disproved the Big Bang. How can be physical possible to disprove the Big Bang, when most anyone can do, regardless of what kind of capability employ, it can see only as far as 380,000 years after the Big Bang, when the universe was not transparent to light. Any attempt of peeking deeper will simply hit a wall of plasma-like state. The universe was in its composition, close to a star. This is the cosmic microwave background radiation, the smoking gun that Big Bang happened. Public outreach is a significant part of an astronomer's job, and images captured by the James Webb Space Telescope consistently impress the general public. Astronomers are able to engage with the public and give science a human face, in a manner that is more challenging for researchers in other scientific disciplines. While there has been a clear decline in public confidence in science, astronomers take public outreach seriously, and as a consequence, I believe they remain among the most trusted scientists. In the interim, astronomers continue to learn more about the early universe, thanks to the incredible data gathered by JWST. The irony is that JWST's observations corroborate the Big Bang model, by demonstrating that the first galaxies were smaller and grew larger over time, as predicted by Big Bang cosmology. The unexpected discovery that early universe galaxies are more numerous, enormous, and structured than anticipated does not invalidate the Big Bang theory. It simply indicates that some of the cosmology that follows the Big Bang requires a few adjustments. And this is the enjoyment of science. Despite the claims and other science denialists, science is never black and white. We are constantly learning and refining our theories, and there is no sinister plot to stifle independent thought. More than anything else, science is founded on observation and evidence, both of which are abundant in the Big Bang. That is not to say that people shouldn't be permitted to question things, but intelligent questioning occurs within a framework of open-mindedness, without preconceived ideologies, where beliefs are forged by evidence, rather than vice versa. This is precisely how the Big Bang theory was conceived nearly a century ago, by following the evidence that the universe is expanding, determining what this might logically imply, and then testing it against predictions such as the existence of CMB radiation. Therefore, the next time you read that the Big Bang did not occur, that the Earth is flat, or that climate change is not occurring, do not accept their words at face value. As a scientist would, politely request their evidence and hold it to the highest standards. Thank you for watching.